Hi peeps, it's Terse back on the old squat box once again. And after the slaughter we've seen in a primary school in America, and the realisation, I think, in America that there is some need for keeping track of who owns weapons, perhaps limiting the kind of weapons that you have open and free to purchase and own in your society. The NRA stepped forward with a very poor rendition of "we're here to give constructive input into the debate," as they said, and their constructive input is to arm teachers, pay for armed guards in every school across America. When schools in America are unable to afford books, unable to afford teachers, unable to afford repairs for the structure of the schools that the children go and hopefully get educated in, when all these things are unaffordable and the Congress is cutting the education budget in America, the NRA's solution to children possibly being targets of someone with a gun is for schools to spend some of their very small, limited and depleted budget on armed guards and possibly guns and ammunition. Yes, that would probably be very good for the arm manufacturers that the NRA is representing, but it does nothing for the education system. It does nothing for the kids. I think the cheapest solution is to restrict the kind of guns that people are allowed to own. Restrict the kind of people who are allowed to own them. That would be a cheaper way of facing up to the serious problem of gun violence in America. Rather than saying we must expand the amount of arms that we have in the country, because obviously 300 million guns aren't enough. The NRA is morally bankrupt. They don't represent the gun owners in America. They have absolutely no moral vindication in their view of more guns makes a safer world. It's been proven every time the amount of guns owned in America goes up, the deaths in America by guns goes up. Now they want to arm people in schools. This is imbecilic. I would rather see the money that would be spent on hiring armed guards for every school in America and paying for the guns and the ammunition for every school in America be spent on books, teachers and repairing the decrepit school that some kids have to go and sit in. The leaky roofs, the heating systems that break down in winter, the bus pipes, the crappy shitters that don't work. You need to rebuild your schools. You need to rehire very, very good teachers. You need to put some money into the bus services used to bus kids to the school and back, and perhaps hire intelligent bus drivers who are aware where and when they're picking kids up, and if they miss a kid they know to wait a minute or two to see if someone's going to turn up, to see if they're late or whatever, or if the kids turn up. use their own sensibility around, keep to a tight schedule, you know. Rather than paying for some guy to stand about in the school with a gun, bored out his fucking skull, for that 1 in a million chance that his skill's going to be the one that some crazy guy with a gun attacks. It doesn't make any sense to me. No, the easiest way to solve these sort of problems are better mental health, less access to, you know, guns which are only really meant for murdering people and not for target practice or hunting. The NRA needs to be taken apart. I think you need to dismantle the NRA. Gun owners need to stop sending the NRA their money and form a new gun owners organisation. Gun Owners of America. GOA. Never mind the NRA. But gun owners, a gun owners organisation. GOA. Somebody should set that up. Compete against the NRA. It's only the free market, guys, isn't it? Why should the NRA have a monopoly on, getting money from gun owners? As an organisation that represents them, when they certainly don't represent gun owners, but certainly represent gun manufacturers. They don't deserve your money. They don't deserve your support. They don't deserve you to be a member of their organisation. Every member of the NRA, National Rifle Association of America, every single member should quit. They should stop paying their fee and they should reorganise themselves into a new organisation that actually looks after helping gun owners train themselves, bring their kids into the understanding of owning guns and the responsibility that is that you're taking on, the way the NRA used to be, before the 1970s. That's really what needs to happen in America. And schools need to put the money that they've got towards educating kids, refurbishing the schools and hiring good teachers. And the American people need to spend some time reorganising their society, understanding that you may think the Second Amendment gives you the right to own a gun, but it's not a right that every single person has. People who are mentally ill, people who are perhaps a threat to society, be it that they have already murdered somebody with a gun and have served their time in prison and been released, they should not be able to own a gun. They've paid the debt to society, they should be able to get work, but they shouldn't be able to own a gun again in case they fall back into old bad ways. So there's lots of legislation that needs to be put in place, and checks on who's buying guns. In fact, I would say that every person who buys a gun needs to have a licence for every gun they own. If you have a licence to own a rifle, that licence should only be for that one rifle. If you buy another rifle, you should have to apply for a second licence. And therefore, there should be a stored central database that informs people of how many guns an individual owns. And then perhaps you should turn around and say, it's becoming a bit of an obsession, you buying these guns. You're not a collector, you're not buying and selling them on to other collectors because they're unique or ancient guns and they're not used for firing. If you're buying multiple weapons of mass destruction, semi-automatic rifles, machine guns, 50 cal sniper rifles, on a regular basis, I think you should be investigated. Who needs 10 sniper rifles or 10 AKs or 10 Glocks. I mean, if you've got that, perhaps a small check now and then, when they realise how many licences you have for the weapons you've bought, maybe a small check to make sure you still own and possess those weapons, those guns. I mean, it's like when you buy a car, and then you buy a second car and you don't need the first car, you sell it on to someone else. If you didn't do the paperwork and let the organisation that keeps track of vehicles know that you sold that car on, and then it's used in a robbery and they come to you and say, oh, this car was ruined, you say, oh, I sold that 6 months ago to a guy in a pub. Just like in Britain, there should be a bit of paperwork that you fill in when you sell a car to someone, transferring ownership. I don't know if you do that in America, but that's what should happen. And you should have to do that within 14 days of selling the car or selling the gun. And that database can be updated then with the new owner's address, and it can be checked if that owner exists. And if it doesn't exist, then at least you know there's a gun gone missing, and it can be perhaps traced or tracked, you know. There's a lot of things need to be done in America. Personally myself, I think a ban on any weapon that's not a single bolt action or break open shotgun, perhaps even pump action shotgun, all of that, but 30 bullet sort of magazines, 100 bullet, I don't know what they call them now, you know, they're not called magazines, they're called something else, but 100 bullets attached to a assault rifle, that's a serious piece of fucking hardware. I don't see any ordinary citizen that needs to have something like that. I would ban all that shit. I would totally make it illegal, and I wouldn't say that people who bought them in the past can keep them. No, I would say there's a mandatory buyback. If you own one of these weapons, you need to bring it in and sell it back to the state. You'll be fully compensated, the full price of what you paid for the weapon, but you can't retain that weapon. You can retain your bolt action hunting rifle. You can retain a simple 10 bullet non-automatic, not semi-automatic pistol. You can retain, well, basically your 6-shooter, 5-shooters. Keep them. But man, you've got to realise the days are gone when you can just willy-nilly just buy any kind of weapon you want and run about like a yahoo from the fucking 1880s. Times have changed, times have moved on, and people aren't going to put up with that shit anymore. Anyway, that's my take on what's going on. And the NRA, as I say, if you're a member of the NRA, you should pull out of it. You should stop giving them your fee. You should start to reorganise yourselves with other good gun owners and form like a gun owners Association of America, GOAA, you know. Fuck the NRA, put them out of business. They're not working for the benefit of gun owners in America, they are working for the benefit of gun manufacturers and corporations who invest in gun manufacturers. That's what they're doing. They're actually, well, you could say they're a terrorist organisation. They're helping to fund anti-American, crazy, mass murdering bastards in America. That's what they're doing. They're helping to make it easier for terrorists. And what that guy did, if he was a Muslim, it would have been a terrorist act. The fact he wasn't a Muslim doesn't make it not a terrorist act. And that was made possible by the NRA. I would say that means that the NRA is a terrorist organisation. they're helping people who commit these atrocities in America to be able to commit those atrocities. Now, if that was someone passing money and bullets and guns to an illegal Muslim organisation, it would be banned. They would be put on the terrorist list as a terrorist organisation. I don't see why the NRA isn't a terrorist organisation. They are totally responsible for a lot of the shit that's happened in America over the last 30 years. Anyway, strange about. And I hope to fuck that America sometime in the next 2 or 3 months sorts this shit out, because it's getting old, man. It's getting old every 3 months or so. Hearing another massacre in America that just didn't need to happen if you only had normal gun safety regulations in your country. Just like I hate to hear of people dying because they couldn't see a doctor. Simply because the place they work wouldn't pay for healthcare. And it's not legislated that they have to. And they don't pay the people enough to pay for their own healthcare. So it's kind of like forcing people not to be able to see a doctor. I think that should be illegal as well, in some sense. Either you give people a normal living wage, or you pay them shit wages but you pay their healthcare. You know? Strange guy.